If you've been waiting your whole life for the ultimate asteroid mining simulator, then you're in luck. Delta V Rings of Saturn is here, and it's a game that understands the importance of science in science fiction. The physics-based mining sim drops you in a world where every action has a reaction. Precision spaceflight means a mistimed thruster burst could lead to major ship damage, or your hold barfing up all your precious minerals. Will you unravel the mystery of the rings, or just spend your time getting rich? Because while money can't buy you everything, it can buy a ton of cool things like fission reactors, experienced crew members, or pogs. Delta V Rings of Saturn may or may not contain 90s era schoolyard games. Please consult a doctor if you remember pogs, as you are old now. Delta V Rings of Saturn is available now, so head on over to its Steam page today.
This other stream playing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Firelink Podcast, episode number 27 for Wednesday, July 3rd, 2024. My name is Marty Sleva, as always, joined by Nick Calandra, Casey Wosu, producer Eric, and a little tease of our new podcast premiering next Tuesday at noon called The Rewind. It was definitely done on purpose. It was done a couple times, kind of choppy. Definitely
a marketing
wasn't a
stunt
mistake on anyone's part. It was a marketing stunt, and I think it worked. So congratulations, everyone, and welcome. It's so great to have you all back here at Firelink, episode number 27. We got a great show for you today. Usually I run down several things we're talking about. I'm going to be honest. We didn't make, there's no news.
Yeah, there's
There's
real
dirge
of news
world
today.
events, but God knows I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, no. That's probably why there's no news. Folks are just a little depressed.
And it's listen, when the 4th of July is on a Thursday, people are like, what if I take a 7-day weekend? And then you're like, I might as well just take the entire week, and then boom, that's where we are. But we're gonna be talking about, you know what, we've done a lot of negative Nancy's. We're gonna talk about positive Pollys today. We're just gonna talk about how to enjoy your hobby, how to avoid getting gaming burnout. And one of the ways, play the video game Burnout, which is a great racing game where you can crash into your friends.
Game. Great
It's a good ass game. We should bring it back. Nick, get on the horn.
I'm upset.
Get on the
already.
horn to Criterion.
I'm upset.
Get us Burnout. And then talk about a bunch of stuff we've been watching and playing. All sorts of good stuff. And yeah, George Lucas, I saw right
Just
before
ruined my day.
Outer Range canceled.
I just
We never know what happens in that void.
Oh, no.
Amazon.
When a show gets canceled, you know what you're allowed to do?
It's just gonna go to Netflix and be worse.
Write your own ending. No, it's not going to go to Netflix and be worse. And then right off the bat, thank you so much. As all of our things here, we are funded by your generous patronage, your donations, your super chats, your merch purchases, your merchases, if you will. And thank you so much, Ritvik, right from the get-go with $5 dono. How am I supposed to enjoy my hobby when Amazon canceled Outer Range? I know. True monsters. You know what? I'm starting to think we can't trust Jeff Bezos with the keys to pop culture. I'm starting to think this might be a bad idea.
It was a good show.
Well, you know what? Like a void, it burned bright and crashed hard.
This was supposed to be a positive podcast about enjoying our hobbies, and I just want to go cry and sleep now.
Part of enjoying our hobbies is having the things we love taken away from us.
by billionaires.
By greed.
Yeah, what do you do post thing you love? That's the subset of how to enjoy your hobbies.
I mean,
this will happen to you.
If I'll finish a game I love or like a show I really love, and then I'm like, what do I do now? Like, what do I do with my hands? I felt that way after Lost. I was in a malaise, a lost malaise.
Yeah, but your show didn't get canceled.
That's true. You know what? I can't be hurling around blame for Outer Range Season 2 getting canceled because I also did not watch the first. Listen, I loved the first season. You released in a busy period. Don't release
Next
it.
time I see you, sir.
Don't release it during the NBA Finals. What are you doing? Get out of here.
Yeah, that's kind of rough.
Don't release it during the NHL draft in the dome, in the orb. Did you see the draft, Nick? Did you
They
see
do
the
drafts in the orb?
I didn't
They
get to
did a
go see the
draft in the
draft.
orb. Oh my god, you got to see it. It is gnarly. I don't care about hockey whatsoever.
But they made you care?
I'll attend the draft in the orb.
When I was in Vegas, though, we were at like a top floor cigar bar, and we were able to like look down and watch free pay-per-view UFC on like the big teleprompter screen.
Look at that.
So, we're just
It was like
standing up. We're just standing up at the top of this hotel.
Like it was going
Yeah.
on live, or you were watching?
Yeah. It was going on live. We were just able to watch it on the telecom way down below us.
Look
That's
at
sick.
that. It's a little Vegas sneak treat for you guys if you end up going there. Go to the cigar bar and hope there's a pay-per-view going on at that time. And, you can watch. And King Dead with a $2 dono. Thank you so much, King Dead. Shows get canceled. Write your own fanfic. I guess that you could do that too. Write your own ending. How do you want it to end? Everyone lives happily ever after?
So because the show has
Bezos
been...
putting his billions into the show.
Yeah, why doesn't he just save every show on his network? He has the power to do that, right?
I feel it is weird to me that there aren't more billionaire patrons of the art who are just like, fuck it, I want this to come back. I will pay any amount of money for that.
Apparently, that's the story for that show Supernatural. Like, it was allowed to just go on for as long as it wanted because like the president or owner of the network loved it so much. He was like, write those guys a blank check.
That's the secret. Or like find like someone's kid who really likes the show. Someone high up, like, well, the president's kid likes it. What are we gonna do? We gotta keep it on. And then Drew Man with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Drew Man. Thanks for the background noise while I monster hunt rise with the beginning of my weekend, gents.
Talk about enjoying your hobby.
I was about to say, I think that's as good of a segue as any into chatting about enjoying your hobby, because it is. Listen, it's easy to burn out on the things you love. For us, because it is a job, it's especially easy to burn out on the things we love. But for anyone, like if you engage with a hobby so much, and especially to a point to where you're watching or listening to things like this and you're in our community, that means you're like in the upper percentile of people interested in stuff. And so it's easy to burn out on it and get a little cynical. And so we're here to give you some of our personal tips. How do we avoid that? Yoga? Do we do yoga? Get like a big stretch on?
I mean, you're saying that as a joke. It's not too far off from some advice that I do have.
Let's just start firing away.
Yeah, and one of the main things I think that will help people stay engaged with the thing they love is to give it a break every now and then. Like go and find another hobby, something else to do, like yoga, which is super healthy for you, keeps your body limber, all that jazz. Might meet somebody cute if you're single.
Think about it.
Like it just gives you other things to focus on and think about, so that when you're off doing those things, which you're also enjoying, hopefully, that when you get some other free time, you're like, oh, I've been really meaning to, or I've been really waiting to get back to XYZ, as opposed to getting burnt out in the first place, right? Just having a diverse array of stuff to handle will keep it all fresh.
Yeah, I think it's like a running problem for a lot of people that play video games. Is like that's all they do is play video games. Just yeah, whether it's watching TV, movies, whatever, but it's always back to video games at some point. And I know, like I'm having that issue right now where, like I want to play games, but I'm also kind of burnt out on them just because I haven't been able to go like do exercise or hockey or anything because I still don't have health insurance, so I haven't been able to get my MRI, so I can't go back and play hockey until I get that. So I'm like, man, I want to play games, but also like I do that for work every day. I want to go do something else, and I can't. And then I'm like, do I want to read? Like, no, I'm too tired for that.
No one ever wants to read. Let's be honest.
I brought a book with me to Vegas. Oh, Marty's
what
reading
the Bible?
No, it was the wrong way. It's Berserk.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's Marty's Bible.
I mean, that is words. I'm gonna be honest. Berserk doesn't have a ton of words. It's a lot of sick ass drawings. And then I turn the next page and I'm like, damn, there's some gnarly shit going on in Berserk.
Yeah, that's a manga. That does not count as a book.
I ignore the pictures and I only read words. And it's like splish. And I was like, oh, what do we think is going on here? What do we think is splishing?
I would say like my biggest piece of advice, because I was working. This topic kind of came because I was working on a unpacked video for it, and then I just couldn't really like figure out how to make it an interesting video. But like one of my big things that whenever I start to feel bored of games or whatever, I start to expand into new genres that I just don't know how to play because it gives me something new to learn and teach myself. Whether it's like the most recent one was like getting into the deck builder genre. You know, because I've been getting into those and really learning how to play those, and those are
You
fun
got
to
hooked
just
on a
kind
couple
of.
of those.
I did, yeah. I mean, you know, those are fun games to just kind of play over and over again when you're bored, because they keep your brain engaged as you know, try to find the right strategy to win. But you know, I did that. That's what happened when I went back to play the Souls likes for the first time. Now I'm in the deck builders, and now that I'm kind of found, you know, after Balatro, I'm like ready for a new genre of games to play. So I think I talked on the podcast.
Can we give you suggestions?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been trying to force myself to get into like 2D platformers, and I just don't think I like 2D platforming games.
Yeah, you got to find the right one.
Yeah, Well, just like which ones have you been playing?
Well, the most recent one I was messing around with was the Ukulele Impossible Lair.
Oh, that's a good game. Oh shit. I don't
I've never
played.
I
like
bought
that.
that.
You've never played it?
No,
Yeah.
no, I bought it.
You
I've
of
never
all
played
people.
the 2D ukulele, right? And it has that whole thing where like you can go to the impossible lair whenever you want, but if you beat the rest of the levels, you get like more tries or whatever at it, or more.
Right.
Lives.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool
you get more attempts.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, it's possible a genre just doesn't stick with you, right? Like,
yeah.
At a certain point, like, have you gone? How many Mario games have you played? 2D Mario games. Like, have you played Mario World, Super Mario World, the Super Nintendo one?
No, I think the only 2D Mario games I played was Super Mario Bros. 3. Yeah, on the Game Boy Advance, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was
yeah. And then I played the Yoshi's Island one.
Okay.
One of them.
The one with
like
where Mario's a
World
baby.
Is like
yeah,
one
the one where
of
Mario's a
the most
baby.
Games.
Yeah.
Like, and that to me is like a pillar game. Like all good platformers have DNA of Mario World in it. You get that was the first dinosaur and a cape. First game to ever have a cape. That can't be true. I think
that's probably
first Mario game with a dinosaur and a cape. Yoshi's a dinosaur, right? He's not a turtle. He's not.
Is Bowser not a? I mean, he's as much a dinosaur as Bowser is, right? Like,
I always think of Bowser as like a four-legged lizard who's learned to climb onto his hind legs, almost like a little bit of like an angry, like a turtle god of some sorts.
all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried so many of them. I've tried, like, I was trying to get on the Messenger, just couldn't get into it. I played Celeste, but I don't know, like that's the kind of like frustration that I don't enjoy.
Yeah, Celeste is the deep end, I would say.
Yeah,
like, you need something that's more like joy-inducing moment to moment.
Sure.
You know, I like some of like the, I guess, more artistic ones, Ori, and like I've been playing Mario Wonder and stuff like that. But just like the precision, hardcore kind of platforming, like even Shovel Knight just wasn't doing it for me. And I'm trying to like go back and do a lot of those like 2D-ish retro ones, but I think I just didn't really. I grew up with them, but like I didn't play a lot of them.
I know I just said that Celeste was a deep end, but how do you feel about Mega Man? Have you played a lot of those?
Nope. Never got into Mega Man.
The SNES X games, I think, they're more accessible than like the OG Mega Man. Like, don't play those if you're trying to get into a platformer. But like X and X2 and X3, I think give that a shot. Like, they're shooters, but they're good platformers. It's a good time.
Have you ever played Mega Man Battle Chasers? It was a very bad Mario Kart clone.
I've never even heard of that.
Battle Chasers is technically the first 3D Mega Man game, and let me tell you, it's not good.
The most recent 2D platforming action game I played was The Last Faith. I think my main issue with a lot of them is I get annoyed with all of them almost being Metroidvanias. Because I think that's the main thing is I don't like the maps of Metroidvanias.
Yeah, you get confused with the map navigation and stuff. Yeah, find just a proper platformer.
Yeah, I don't mind platformers. It's mainly that I feel like every single one of them's a Metroidvania. I'm like, stop it. Just let me go straight for a while.
They're like, do you still try to branch yourself, like open yourself up to new genres, Casey, or are you just like, fuck it, I like what I like?
I like not actively. Like, I don't actively seek out. All right, I'm kind of not into this, so let me find one of them that I am into. But if one of those sorts of genres has other aspects that interest me, then I'll be more inclined to give it a try. And if that hooks me, then I get more interested in like other versions of it. For example, Unicorn Overlord was a game system that apparently existed elsewhere. Like folks were saying that it's similar to like Final Fantasy 12.
A little bit, yeah.
I think there was some other. No, it was Jamae basically made the connection to that and like Dota Auto Chess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where essentially it's like you know all the ins and outs of the hero characters, and then you align them in a way where their moves will play out and synergize with each other, and then you put that against another team, like an enemy team. And the joy is to like watch your creation, your synergistic team, wreck shop based on like
your coach.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that feels so much more hands-on than what like a traditional 2D RPG is, even though it's fully automated, which is so weird to me. Like I never thought it would be something that I would get hopelessly addicted to. Like I wasted a lot of time doing all the side shit in that game when I should have been doing more important stuff. So that really surprised me. And I am very much intrigued for other games that like utilize a similar system now. Even the auto chess thing. I just know that there are like hundreds of champions or whatever for that. So like that might be a Herculean task to try and make sense of.
There are like 100 fucking characters in Unicorn Overlord? Like 50? There's a lot of them, right?
I mean, but sure. But okay. I guess that's not a fair assessment. Because you get them over time. Right.
Yeah, I guess.
But I feel like I'm
and you get context as opposed to just seeing.
Yeah, auto chess doesn't have like a single player story that guides you through everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like the knowledge base would have come from you playing a lot of Dota proper, which I still don't understand. Like that's a game that I have never been able to break into. I've even tried to watch it and understand it as an esport and cannot make heads or tails of what happens in Dota.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. I think I played like 1 or 2 games of Dota in my life as goofs and didn't work out.
I feel like
I'd be happy to just understand it better.
I feel like Marty's the one that's the most resistant to trying new genres.
Marty, you think?
I do less trying. I mean, I know what I like at this point. Like,
yeah, and that's fair.
On this earth for this many decades, I know what I like, and I also when I go instead of trying new genres, I go back and sort of devote myself to specific series. I'll be like, I want to. Whether it's a first time in a long time or just something I like, I'll be like, I want to go through all the old Final Fantasies. I'm getting ready to do that with all the Dragon Quest games. I started doing that with Breath of Fire. That's one of the reasons I love doing the Thursday streams with UKC is because we kind of do that. You can see how a series like Dead Space or Metal Gear or Devil May Cry grows, throughout console generations and throughout, in some cases handing it off to different developers like DMC and everything. As opposed to just like new genres, I don't remember the last time a game came along and was like, oh, I'm playing a new genre because of this game. Maybe the closest thing is I don't give a shit about Muso games, but if it was the two that were tied to Persona and Zelda, I was like, okay, I'll play this genre. I have no interest in this genre whatsoever, but I like these two things enough that I'll play this genre for that. And then people are like, well, try these. I'm like, no, I don't want to play as this weird warlord. Who care about him?
Yeah, if I can get one of those fake Nintendo discount things again, I think Hyrule Warriors might be my next purchase because like my son beat Tears of the Kingdom and like he's looking for more like just Zelda stuff, and I think he might be into that. And it was a game that I was interested in for exactly that reason. Like it's got characters I like, so I'll just give that one a shot. I also really like the One Piece one, Pirate Warriors 4.
Yeah,
that one was not bad.
One Piece, like best One Piece games, and I think that was up there as one of the better ones. Apparently, that One Piece Odyssey that came out a few years ago was kind of a disappointment to people.
I never tried it.
That was an RPG. That was an RPG like Dragon Quest.
That's
okay.
It sounded like it would have been cool, but I think people just.
I thought people liked it.
I don't think
pretty good reviews.
When I was looking it up. It was like on the list of like disappointing One Piece games. But I don't know. Maybe it was just whatever list I saw.
It was Amy that was having a good time with it. I remember because she streamed it for newly released, but I don't think she continued with it.
Damn, too many issues with that manga. That's what's going on. Now they're just making a new anime because like it's been going on.
Yeah,
too long.
They're just starting it over before the first one even finished.
So the first one going to still go, or they just like okay? So they're still going to have an old one, but then they're also going to have a new one. Do you think they're ever going to catch up?
Like the manga nor the anime are finished yet. They're going to start a new sequel series.
Yeah,
not even a sequel series. Just a redo of the first series.
Do you think like the normies who watched the show on Netflix, like the live action show, were like, "Oh, this is cool! I'm excited for season 2." Do you think they realize this comic's been going on for fucking almost 30 years? Like that is nuts.
Not at all.
Like it makes sense that this anime has been going on for so long that, like, yeah, at a certain point, I don't know, like that shit came out when like the Nintendo 64 was out. So yeah, it makes sense to be like, all right, maybe we should juice this up a little bit on new technology. Like the anime has gotten better looking, right?
Yeah. It looks miles different now than it did when it first released. Like,
yeah.
On top of the fact that it already has weird art.
Maybe cash in with the Netflix thing and make it an easier entry point for people. That's why they're
probably that's probably the idea.
Be super abridged, probably, right? This new one,
and that's probably a good thing because that was something that was positive about the show itself, was that they were kind of cutting through a lot of fat in terms of telling that story.
Yeah. While still having like the big beefy one there for anyone who gets hooked and wants to see all fucking 1,100 episodes of it, which is just obscene.
What do you guys tend to do like when you do start feeling burnt out on games? What are your go-tos for other hobbies? Or
I mean, like I you guys touched on it earlier. I think having a lot of hobbies is very useful, and I think that goes across the board. I think the people who get the most mad at relatively unimportant pop culture are people who don't do a lot of stuff outside of that pop culture. It's the people who all they do is watch Star Wars, and so if fucking Star Wars has a bad day, you're gonna have a bad day because you don't have anything else.
It's all you have.
Star Wars to me is like fucking 1% of everything. So if Star Wars has a bad series, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just move on to the next thing. And so and that just includes a wide array of movies and TV, but then also just things kind of outside of that. Like I'll have my stints where I get super into anime and watch a bunch of it, or it'll be football season, I'll be super into football, or I'll get that head injury at WrestleMania and just be like, I'm a wrestle boy now. And I don't think I'm a wrestle boy anymore. But SummerSlam's coming up, so maybe I will be a wrestle boy one more time.
It's okay to have starts and fits of your wrestle boyism.
Yeah, exactly. If you're a wrestle boy 24/7, you're gonna get a headache and you're gonna pass out and you're gonna need to hydrate.
You're gonna get CTE or something.
Yeah,
it reminds me of when we had that conversation about like fandoms and stuff like that. And I think I made the claim that like I just don't think I'm like a fan of anything. I think there's things
like not even Halo.
No, not really. Like I enjoy.
You read the books though.
Yeah, but I enjoy those things. But like, there's nothing that's like so sacred to me that like I can't just move on from it when I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know? Like I just there's nothing that like I don't need to own everything Halo related because I'm such a huge fan of it, or there's nothing I have to own of everything Star Wars related. I see you looking off and smiling there because I bought the Blu-ray. I know what you're thinking.
Who are you pointing at? Me?
Marvin, Casey. I saw his smirk going. I know what you bought.
Yeah, I mean, you like a lot of Halo. I would call you a Halo fan. I would refer to you as a Halo fan. But what you're saying is like you're not obsessive about it.
Yeah. But I'm like I don't talk about it every day. Like I don't. It's not. When Halo 5 like was really disappointing, I didn't like go angry about it. I'm just like I just didn't like it, and I moved on.
I think that in particular is an important distinction. Like even if you are like really big and heavy into something in particular, still being able to be critical of it in a healthy way. Like because that thing is bad doesn't mean that you are bad or the people who made it are bad. It just means that that thing was bad, and there's a chance that it could get better again. But sometimes things aren't as good as you want them to be, and that's fine. Like being able to see that and recognize that and accept it in your soul, that the thing you love can sometimes be mid.
So as I mentioned Halo or Call of Duty in every stream and many videos. I don't think so.
I mean, we might bring up Halo in every video. I mean, Halo is the thing I associate you most with.
Really? That's fun.
Yeah, in terms of games, and like pop culture, I think so. And Blue Mountain High.
Yeah, I think.
Are you intentionally saying that show's name wrong?
Blue Mountain State.
Oh fuck! It's not even high. It's a college. It's collegiate. Oh, you know what? I was getting confused with Rocky Mountain High, which is I think what they call a Coors Light, the Silver Bullet. Hell yeah! No.
All right, a bunch of beer lore.
It's a bad beer. Beer lore. Coors Lights are actually great, by the way. It's made with mountain water.
I probably bring up Halo a lot just because it was very formative to my years growing up. Because like that's where I played games with my friends. Like that's where,
and that's okay.
I would go to my buddy's house and we'd replay the Halo 2 campaign, every weekend or whatever. Like those,
we all had a surrogate father figure in pop culture around that time. Was terrible father figure, by the way. Just abandons his family for years on end.
But I think like
you gotta get stronger.
I think I've just never gotten burnt out on like I've never been like angry about games or burnt out on games as a medium because there is something new every day.
Sure,
Like
yeah.
it's just fresh all the time, and like people that are like, oh, the industry's falling apart, the industry's terrible. It's like if you look at Steam's popular upcoming, like just something new every single day. That's something that's at least probably pretty good at this point. Like you can't go a day without something new to play.
Yeah.
So like I find it easy to be cynical about the business of games. At the higher tier, I'm not really the indie scene, but like the
even
AAA,
even in AAA,
mhm.
like you say, like in that executive tier, it's very easy to be cynical about that stuff. But I'm even like maybe in the lower echelon of that realm, the folks who work in that industry are stupid passionate. Like so much more passionate than you can imagine. Like think about someone who loves their job. Like people who work in games are like 3 to 4 times more passionate about having that job than anyone else you know.
Well, that's like I quit games media for a very short time in 2016 when Google like basically killed my only single player site overnight. Like we were doing like 500,000 visits a month, and then within a month it went down to like less than 100,000. I was like, that's it. I'm not
what
doing
was going
this
to be your
anymore.
backup?
I didn't have a backup. I quickly like landed a freelance PR gig just to get some money in while I was doing college stuff. But then I've told the story a million times, but like Daniel Dwyer from GameSpot went to Poland to do like this documentary kind of thing on Witcher, and he was out in the countryside showing up like there, right? And I'm like, man, I've been covering video games in my bedroom since 2009. Like what he's doing, like he got to go to Poland. He's out there like talking to developers, like just sitting in a big grassy field out on the other side of the world talking about like a game that he's interested in. I was like, I want to fucking do that. And so like the documentaries were like what reignited my passion for everything, because like just getting to meet the people making the games and everything, and like hearing the stories they go through. Like I think the doc that will never leave my mind is the doc on Divinity Original Sin and what Sven Vink went through to make those games. And seeing him on the stage for Baldur's Gate 3 winning Game of the Year was like super cool, having told his story.
Was he the one who was wearing the armor? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, he's wearing the armor. He is.
Was he wearing the armor when you interviewed him?
Yeah, no, he wasn't in the armor when I interviewed him, but like he showed us the armor and everything. I've been to his house. I partied at his house.
Oh man, next been to a Sven party.
Yeah, but
was everyone in armor?
No, not everyone was in armor. Like he has a on his floor, like he has a big like lion pelt. It's pretty cool.
It's a griffin.
Have you ever?
It's a fake.
Have you ever told Daniel Dwyer how pivotal he was to your career in life?
Yeah, he gave me advice like when we were doing the Kickstarter campaign and all that. Like,
sweet.
Yeah, we were in close contact during all that, because at the time, I think I was the only other one doing documentaries alongside him, and so we were kind of competing for some of the same projects. But yeah, no, like those documentaries though, like every time I get to go back out and do those kind of things, like I get reignited in the hobby, because I'm like, man, like it's just so cool being around people that like make this shit. Like Sea of Stars documentary, like just knowing what those guys went through to make that game during the start of COVID and everything, getting that game out there to the public. Like, I don't know, you just can't be cynical when it's hard to be cynical about games when you know what people put into it.
The thing is, like, you end up becoming kind of a product of the environment you create for yourself, and if you are just surrounded by cynical people, the cynicism is gonna wear off on you. Like that's just kind of natural. And so, alongside kind of what both of you guys were saying of when you hear the people who are making these things talk and how like the excitement and passion in their voice, like that's means something, and that kind of reinvigorates you. And I think it's in the same way if you find like other communities where people feel like that. Like right now, Games Done Quick is going on, and that's the twice a year they do a seven day straight charity stream, just back to back, folks speed running just every game under the sun you can imagine. It's going live on Twitch now. They're putting the VODs up on their channel. And this is one of those amazing things where, like, they end up raising several $1 million for, like, Doctors Without Borders or something amazing like that. But then, B, it's you click on one of these games and you just see people who really fucking love all of these games with people cheering them on and announcers cheering them on and like a positive couch behind them sort of commentating everything, and seeing that, like, it is so fun to click into these, even if I don't care about the game, to click into one of these and be like, oh my god, here's people who are just like super fucking stoked to play Kirby 64, or people who are like having like an amazing time with I don't know, Quake 2 or Astral Chain, like any of these games I'm looking at right now. Like it's amazing, and it's hard not to have a smile when you see that. And I think some of those like communities that are like, you know, that's the double-edged sword we were talking about, of like, oh, if you're too passionate about something, that can be like an easy way to kind of fall off a cliff into negativity, but it can also be a way to prop people up in positivity. And I feel like you've kind of curated a little bit of that, Casey, with almost like the Smash community, and having that be kind of your North Star game that you always go back to no matter what else is out.
Yeah, like in a similar way to how Danny O'Dwyer's happenings kind of positioned Nick to kind of follow his career path, Smash in a way did that for me, because like it was like after I've always loved Smash Bros a ton. Like I grew up with four brothers, and so it's a really fun, chaotic game for all of us to sit around and play. And like all my brothers and I played video games for the most part, but as we were getting older, it was more me who kind of stuck with it, and they were like finding other things to do. So it got harder to kind of play Smash regularly with other people, but it was always something like once I was in college, I found like a little group. We played a ton of Smash 64, a bunch of Smash Melee. So it was always like a constant I kept coming back to. But around the time after college, I was working at a job that I thought I'd probably be at forever, but did not like very much. And then I got laid off, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do or how I was going to do it afterwards. I had a bit of a severance, and I was like living off of that while, you know, searching for other stuff. That's when I was doing the PI shit. And I kind of just fell right back into playing Smash. By that time, Smash 4 was out and online was a working thing. So I spent a ton of time playing that online just because it was like a comforting thing to do. It got to the point where I was like, I'm in the house too much. I wonder if there's any tournaments and stuff around. Like I'll go out, I'll like be around other people, but I'll still get to like play Smash because that's comfort to me right now. And like I met this really low-key group of folks who were throwing a tournament. The tournament bombed. I was like one of two people who showed up to their tournament.
Oh, no.
But the group of dudes were super cool. Like they were running like an indie studio called Life Abstract Games. And so I just got to talking with them about the stuff they do. I was telling them like, oh, like I follow games, I write about games, blah, 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 on my own time. So they kind of just took me under their wing. It was like, hey, could you take over all our social media and just like make content for us? I was like, sure. I've been meaning to do exactly that. So like, if you guys are backing me, like they were throwing me like maybe $100, $200 to like spend on games to review per month. So like, I was just doing that, making whatever I wanted for their channel. And it was because of that portfolio I was able to build up with them, thanks to heading to them for a Smash tournament, that I had something to show Nick when I saw his posting back in the day for Gamumentary. And, you know, Nick hired me on then. And then the rest is literal history. Like in a way, like Smash brought me out of that hole. So like, yeah, like I still love the game 100%, but like it does mean a lot to me in that it's kind of core to like me working in the games industry. So like I will always kind of champion it as, and like it, and by like just by nature of its own existence, like Smash is sort of a celebration of video games, period. So like I kind of just love that about it.
Yeah.
That's Darksiders 2 for me, because that was the first game that like well, the very first documentary I signed was not Darksiders, but I did the Runic Games documentary first on Hob and Torchlight. But then the Darksiders, the Darksiders
a little
documentary,
like top-down isometric, like
it's a Zelda like.
Yeah.
But yeah, Darksiders is literally the game that kicked off my career, because like when I was getting started in games media, you know, Darksiders 2 came out in 2012 and I started in 2009. But I like still had my vices for games. That's when I was just still playing Call of Duty, shooters, whatever, like Gears of War, Halo. That's all I played. And I didn't play the first Darksiders, but then I didn't even request it. I just got a random copy of Darksiders 2. And then I put that game in, and I was just like enthralled by it. I was like, oh my god, I cannot put this game down. It became one of my favorite games super quickly. And then that was like, I reached out to those guys to do the documentary on it, like THQ at the time before they even shut down, like old THQ, Shot in the Dark. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, wait, what? We're doing this? And like built an entire Kickstarter for documentary around it. But yeah, like if that documentary did not happen, like we would not be here today. That's a documentary that got the Kickstarter funded. That's the documentary that basically kicked off Gamementary and got us sold to Enthusiast Gaming, and then that's how I got into Escapist and blah blah blah.
Shit.
Like
I didn't realize we owed so much to Darksiders.
Oh yeah, like that's our Darksiders are our origin story.
Do you ever regret all of that after they announced the Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition remaster? Did you ever look back at that and be like, I made a mistake? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have backed this horse. That was on me.
No, it was like, yeah, I was like, if there's one time that I've been extremely angry at the industry and very sad, like it's when THQ fell apart that first time and they closed Vigil Games, like not long after Darksiders 2. Like I was so unhappy about that because like that studio did not deserve that fate.
Yeah, it's funny to look back at some of those games and franchises where you're like, fuck, like this, we could have had a good thing here. It's Mike Ehrmantraut yelling at Walter White. We had a good thing going, and you fucked it all up.
Sure did.
A couple donos came in earlier. Fungus Finder with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. My hobby is gardening, and it is 95 degrees outside. Burnt out. Yeah, that's tough. That is very tough. And then S6, thank you so much for the 10 Australian dollars. Haven't gamed in months because they require interaction, which I don't have time for. I do watch and listen to lots of gaming, Twitch, YouTube, etc., because I can just listen and enjoy games content. I mean, that is another thing. Is like I'll have times where like any of us, it'll be like fucking 10 at night, and I'm finally like, all right, I have free time to do something, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm mentally there to like jump into Erdtree and fight like a scary sunflower man. And so, instead I'll be like, well, I still want to do something game related. And so I'll like watch video essays, or I'll like, I'll watch like, Jacob Geller's new video, or Thor High Heels, or Eurothug. And so you kind of get the auxiliary stuff. I don't watch a ton of streams, honestly. The only streams I watch are like the speedrun streams twice a year. And then I'm watching like a long form Elden Ring play by the RKG, who's like former coworkers of mine. But yeah, in terms of like, I guess I'm on a lot of streams, so maybe if you're on something, you don't watch it.
I mean, I work on YouTube every day. I don't watch YouTube videos.
I used to listen to like a million video game podcasts all in a row.
Yeah.
Once I started doing several video game podcasts, it just kind of stopped.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the same things they're probably talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't listen to any gaming podcast, but I now listen to an anime, and I listen to a couple entertainment podcasts and some sports shit.
Yeah, I listen to Joe Budden's. That's it.
I listen to Joe Biden's.
Joe Biden has a podcast. They just whisper to you the whole time.
I'm pretty good about listening to podcasts when I'm driving, like long distance drives now.
Oh yeah,
they make the drive go by really quick.
Yeah, the Ringer network of podcasts has one called the Rewatchables, where it's just like every week or every 2 weeks they rewatch an old movie and they just talk about it. And that's just like my favorite podcast ever. And sometimes they'll get guests. They'll have like Bill Hader on an episode, or Quentin Tarantino just gabbing about like No Country for Old Men. So,
oh dang,
yeah. And Gelden with a $10 dono. Thank you so much. I've seen echo chambers who do nothing but hate games. Complaining about bad games becomes an identity, and then there's glamour there. I don't think they could stop, and they either mature out of it or they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like part of this topic, honestly, is like people have such a jaded view of the industry that only follow, channels like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like their entire focus is just, clipping things from Twitter and just like, oh, this bad thing happened, this bad thing happened, and this conspiracy happened and all that. And like it's sad to see how many people fall into that rabbit hole. And it's like, this is all the industry is this 4 games that, Samurai, Assassin's Creed Shadows, gotta hate that game, and that's all I can focus on. Can't play any other game that might be interesting.
By Showdown, I'm like, why are they mad at Samurai Showdown?
There's it's frustrating to watch because like there is so much positivity in the games industry, and Like I would not still do this job. I would not do games media if like all we did was shit on games and be angry about it all the time. I have no interest in doing that. And so like the escapist when we were doing that, like that was my last go at it. I'm like, if I can't, because every site I had made before that was like, I don't want to go down the clickbait. I don't want to go down it's trying to bite me. Go down the angry route of video game stuff, like all the articles comparing graphics, all the resolution shit, platform wars, whatever it was. Like all I wanted to do was make something that was like, hey, let's just celebrate games and make them cool, make them interesting. And so like the Escapist was the last shot at doing that. Mm-hmm. And if we didn't find a way to make that successful, I would have quit. I just can't do it.
To anyone who's just listening, when Nick was almost bit, it was not like a small man near him that almost bit him. It was one of his dogs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's just every once in a while we just need to clarify. A lot of people just listen to this, and so when they hear stop fighting,
yeah,
everyone's like, "What kind of
like Marty? Stop
going on?"
Yeah. Eric, our producer, was crawling around trying to bite people.
Oh no, Eric! You monster.
But yeah, I mean, it's frustrating to see like people say like, oh, positivity doesn't sell, blah blah blah, and it's like if you build an audience for it, it does. Like, and we can have our critical takes on things and everything, but like it's not like we sit here and bitch all the time. It's just
sometimes.
Just sometimes. There you go. So, yeah, sometimes you just gotta get there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say something made me think of this earlier. I can't remember if it was Marty or Nick who was making mention of it, but another tactic that I think is pretty cool is learning more about the hobby, right? Like if you're into like games and like you consume a lot, actually seeking out information about like other aspects of it, like how the art was made, like who composed the music.
Yeah.
Like that stuff can be a slightly different angle, but still related to the thing you like, and can bring you like a lot of like information that would allow you to appreciate it in a new light. So like, like for example, if you're like getting your ass kicked by Shadow of the Erdtree, for example, and then you go look up like a Vati Vidya video. So it's a content creator who's just talking about the lore, like the story that's weaved into that world. You could be enjoying the shit out of just that.
Yeah.
And just have a real appreciation for the world you're in outside of actually playing anything.
Oh, I feel like I have consumed so much Sekiro, even though Sekiro's too hard for me. Sekiro's too mean for me. But I've watched full playthroughs. I've watched a ton of lore videos. I've watched casuals play it. I've watched hardcore people play it. It's like I understand. I know everything that's going on in that game. Like I know where they're. Yes, I have not beaten it myself. I absolutely have not. But like, it was a way for me to experience the art of creators that I really enjoy without, the interaction portion, which for that game just didn't gel with me.
Yeah,
because I'm a baby. Because it's too scary. The monkey gets a second head when he should only have one.
That monkey is a problem.
That monkey is an absolute problem, and we as a nation need to do something about it.
Throws his poop at you.
Joe Biden or Joe
he really does.
One of the Joes need to figure out what's going on with this chimp.
Who's the other Joe?
Yeah, Biden or Budden.
Oh,
either the Joe B's. King Dad 42. With a file or don't know. Thank you so much, King Dad. I recently learned that by cutting my podcast consumption a bit and replacing it with music really helped my mood. Music is one thing that I have left at the wayside for way too long. And maybe that's part of the reason I got excited about the Drake and Kendrick thing again.
Because it put it front and forward.
I was like
for you
listening to songs like the minute they dropped, and there was a communal, like almost like back in the day when Game of Thrones would air, like everyone on Twitter would be freaking out about it the moment it stopped. And this felt like the same thing. Like that night, it was like, oh my god, this is not like us. Holy shit! Like, and that was exciting. Whereas now I'm just like, well, where do I find the music now? And then I turn on the Country Music Awards and the Hawk 2 girls there, and I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore.
They put her on the stage at the Country Music Awards.
She was there with DJ Shaq. I don't think that was the Country Music Awards. I think she was just there at a show with DJ Shaq. You know who DJ Shaq is?
I don't know who DJ Shaq is. No,
Shaquille O'Neal when he DJs.
There were
Shaquille O'Neal is right. Big basketball man.
Yeah.
Why did Shaq go find that girl?
I don't know if Shaq went and found that girl, but they're a tandem now.
There are stories about Shaq. I wouldn't be surprised if Shaq went and found that girl.
Oh yeah, Shaq has talked about how like he went too wild and lost his family because he went too wild. But you know what? He played Steel in the movie Steel. He played Kazam in the movie Kazam.
You know what? There's a bunch of people that are like super cynical about that Haktua girl. But there was one article I read is like, you know what? People just needed a laugh, and she gave it to him. And I was like, you know what? That's right. It's funny.
That was fun. Yeah.
But the meme has gone overboard now.
It's gone overboard, and she now has representation in Hollywood. And I'm like, what are we gonna do? What kind of representation? What are we like? Someone trying to green light like a
it's just
fast
rich
track
people that want
to movie.
Rich people just want to make money off her.
It was the same thing about how Tiger King. They were immediately like, oh my god, we got to do a season 2, and then we need to make a real movie. And it's like, no, people only laughed at this for a week. Like you can't turn it around quick enough. The same thing with Morbius. Everyone was dunking on Morbius, and they're like, "What if we put it back in the theaters in a few weeks?" I'm like, "No, you don't understand the goof.
Like, this is over your head, corpos."
Yeah. The right wing crowd is super angry with her right now because there was like she went on this like the interview thing where whoever the host was like basically showing them pictures of dudes and asking like, "Would you hawk two of this guy?" And the first guys they were like, "No." Yeah, pretty much. And then the second one was Donald Trump, and she was like, "Fuck no!" And now all right wingers are like super mad at her about that.
How dare you not spit on the dick of the greatest president alive?
Well, like, what's wrong with you people? Like, what the fuck?
I am now imagining someone out there doesn't know what Haktua is, and then we start talking about spitting on it.
You know what? That's okay. That's okay if you don't know what that is.
Sometimes it's nice to learn a little bit about stuff that we don't understand.
Oops.
So,
I saw that
insane sentence.
I saw that clip and I was like, how is this a real thing? What the fuck is happening? Why are they mad about this?
I'm waiting for the Democratic Party to be like, you better hawk to the polls this November.
I saw that. I saw that literal. Someone wrote in Hillary Clinton voice.
Because she said, I hope everyone Pokemon goes to the polls.
She did.
The 2016 when Pokemon Go was around.
She also went on Power 105, a Black New York radio station, and said, I keep hot sauce in my bag.
No.
God.
No.
Our society's so fucked.
Oh my god.
Drew Man with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Drew Man. Do you think there's a connection between the absolute dedication of the FromSoft community and the initially extreme reaction to the Shadow of the Erdtree relaunch?
I'm writing about that slightly for my Unpacked video Thursday.
It's next Thursday to be specific, right?
You right.
Well, I mean, I assume it's not tomorrow because
it's not
video.
tomorrow.
It's
emblematic tomorrow.
No, just making sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the extreme reaction is anything when it gets to be the most popular thing has nowhere to go but down in terms of. We talk about this all the time. Like it's like I'm not Nostradamus. I was just like, there's gonna be a backlash against this eventually because there's a backlash against everything. Like there was a backlash against Zelda last year. They were like, "Oh, you made a perfect game, and then you made another perfect game. That's too many perfect games in a row. You got
like two perfects cancel each other out. So fuck this. Fuck all this.
It's too perfect." But yeah, I think that's just a side effect of it becoming extremely popular. And that's not to say it's without its faults or without its criticism proof, because it's certainly not. I definitely have some criticisms to levy at this Erdtree, but
I feel like I have a different theory about that back and forth. Like I think it's possible that these are two different groups. Like you're saying, like it's so big now that the people
there's no like single convo.
Yeah, like it's not like the same person who was like, "Oh, I am so in love with everything Elden Ring. I'm a staunch supporter of its everything." Is the same group that now have jumped into the DLC and are like, you know what, Miyazaki, it is a little too hard. I don't know what's going on here, but you need to dial it down a bit. I don't think those are the same people, but because that pool is much bigger, you have people who aren't, part of the core who are coming in saying like, hey, this is a little too hard. Like, I don't like this.
Well, let's just transition into what we've been playing and watching, because can we talk about some Erdtree, some non-spoiler Erdtree thoughts? What is that?
I'm getting demonetized for his ringtone.
Was that your ringtone?
No, my phone just started playing music. I don't know why.
Who was it? That
was Weezer.
To Shaquille O'Neal combo?
No, that was Weezer.
Oh, shout out Weezer. I hope that dude fine. Rivers Cuomo.
Yes, what a genius that man.
Do you think he was related to the disgraced politician Cuomo?
I hope not.
When before we get to that topic, like I just think it's funny in this day and age, like one person has an opinion about Elden Ring and it just blows up. It just absolutely goes crazy. Like it's
the internet.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, man, like you just gotta stop getting so mad about a single person's opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we've all been Erdtree. You finally got into the Erdtree. You finally got to Moog. Also, I don't want to spoil things. I need to apologize to Moog when I call him the certified pedophile, because it turns out he's not. I'm not gonna spoil the lore.
I don't know the lore.
Spoil the Erdtree lore. That was a mea culpa.
It was a
lot of the Souls community
accusation.
has a lot of. We have a lot of mea culpas to do. Listen, all the evidence was there in the main game. I'm sorry.
So there was a trial. He was proven innocent.
That is the one case of cancel culture going awry. Canceling Moog.
I didn't even know he was canceled.
He was. Yeah, you didn't realize it. That's why they sent him down to Moogtown, wherever he lived.
Moogtown Palace.
He's gonna get a spin-off sequel just because of That's how hard you cancel him.
I don't want to spoil it, but I killed that man in order to enter his egg. See what was going on back there. Where are you feeling? How are you feeling, Casey?
I jumped through all those hoops or whatever.
Did you use a guide?
I did have to use a guide because I was sniffing in the wrong location and I was sick of wasting time. So luckily I had the stuff I needed to get where I needed to go, but I did need to go through the path once I found out where I was supposed to be going. But yeah, got into the proper DLC stuff. I like a lot of the new weapons that I'm finding, like that first guy who jumps off that McDonald's arch and starts trying to fuck you up. Yeah, I got his weapons, and I've been using them a lot in like the first like open areas and like that first dungeon, and it's like it seems like they're leaning more towards. I mean, and I guess base Elden Ring was like this too, but like it's not as much back and forth. Like you're not kind of doing the dance with enemies as much as you're, making use of the full range of your moveset. Like you'll use like a one-handed attack because it has specific animations. You'll switch to two-handed and then do a thing with that so that you rushes your animations. And all of that is like stun locking enemies. You're doing heavy attacks to like break their stance or whatever. So like it's a lot more active out in the field. And then when you get to the bosses, it's more. That's where you get that kind of steady. Watch what they do. React properly. And I really wasn't finding any hurdles until that freaking dancing lion.
Yeah.
And I did everything I could. I was switching up all my weapons. I was using my mimic tier. I had that one summon lady who you can get in there. And like I was only ever getting as close as like a third of the health left. Like he would get into like his second phase and like start wilding. And like if everyone else was dead, I had zero chance. Like if he only had me to focus on, I felt like I could not do anything. So I finally started summoning other players. And those were going okay. Like a lot of them just kept getting wrecked. And then one dude showed up with like Frenzy Flame and completely obliterated the Dancing Lion. And I immediately regretted summoning his ass because I feel like he robbed me of the actual fight.
Mm-hmm. That's why I never summon other people.
I summon other people all the time. If I give you 5 tries, and if you're a pain in the ass, I'm bringing someone who has a big club and no armor in.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta
absolutely. The less armor someone has, the more I'm summoning them in. I'm like, yes, naked man.
Much like the base game, I just recommend exploring a bunch and go get.
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
I mean, have you been Skadu treeing? What's your Skadu level at? That's everything.
Right now my Skadu level is at like 3, and my ashes are at like 4.
You gotta pump those Skadus up.
Yeah, that's what I realized is the problem.
More damage, 5% taking less damage every time.
Like I've been
get exploring.
Yeah, I've been trying to get by, and I know that I'm not supposed to.
You're doing the thing you do. You got.
I know. Let me tell you where I'm stuck right now.
Again?
I don't know what's wrong with me, but like I'll come across an enemy and be like, I can take him, even if I can't. Even if I know that everything is weighted against me, it's like I'm here now, so I have to fight him. And I've wasted like several hours now in like I think the second Legacy dungeon where that Carrion Knight shows up, like that big. He's not even that big, but like he's just in full armor. Yeah. He's got a giant sword, and I cannot kill him, and I can sneak around him, and I've seen what's past him, but I keep coming back. I keep coming back.
I need the punishment.
Because it's like, because I could kill him. I just need to not get hit at all. That's the
thing is,
he hits me one time and fight is over.
The thing is, it would be like if you like had a bully when you were like 10, and this kid kept kicking your ass, and no matter what you did, he kept kicking your ass. Skadu fragments are like being able to leave and then come back when you're like 27 and just beat the shit out of a 10-year-old, and it feels great. Like, and you can't get arrested. There's no cops in Elden Ring to be like, you just beat up a child, so it's great.
Yeah, I think I just gotta leave. Like that is the answer to the question.
That's exactly what I did. I just you're just gonna sit there and
you're not gonna do it. You know you have to do it, but you're not gonna do it.
He's
got to maintain the Souls Champ crown.
Yeah.
Like this isn't even a Souls Champ thing. This is I don't know what this is, but I do this every fucking time.
Yeah, and
I need to stop, honestly.
I'm at like the last 3 bosses. Ball, the final boss, which I won't spoil for like the story part, and then the boss down in the Carillion Fields dungeon.
Yeah.
And
I beat the one at the bottom of that dungeon.
That's the one I'm convinced I can beat now. But the other two, like Jay and I were streaming yesterday Siege, and he was just like, "Yeah, I got to that last boss, and I just nope, I'm done. It's not worth it." And I'm like,
"You want to know the secret? You summon someone with no clothing because it means they're good at the game."
Jack. I don't even think Jack is gonna finish that boss.
After Jack go get there. We're just playing
He's
very
gonna
slowly.
get there.
Jack beat the Dancing Lion on his first real try.
Nice.
Without a human.
How many Skadus did he have?
I think more. I think he's probably at like Skadu 5.
Skadu 5. Okay.
But Jack just got fists. He is nuts. He doesn't put clothing on, and he's just got fists. And he just runs in. And he just starts punching things.
Yeah, clothes isn't that important. Like I decided to just go with full style. Like I'll just wear stuff that I like for the most part, because like the armor does not mitigate much at all. And when I did, because I was trying everything against this fucking carrying guy, I put on just all the heaviest, dankest shit I had. And when you do that, you can't run, you can't roll. No. you're just a walking tank.
Things. Fat rolls are so funny. I'm still wearing Blade's armor, the Wolfman from the original game.
Just he had a good look.
And I like to pretend like I can still smell him in his armor because I miss him. He had a raw
deal. I'm still really upset that I'm playing it on New Game Plus because it's been really tough.
Yeah, that's silly. The only thing better in Elden Ring is making Elden Ring more difficult for yourself.
Is that automatic Souls Champ for me?
No, Nick, you know the rules.
You know who a Souls Champ is.
I have to go back and beat the Blood Demon.
You got to ask Lampy. Those are the rules. Lampy will tell you how to get it.
I guess I gotta finish.
He's like the chairman of Souls Champ.
He made the emote. Lampy holds all the rules.
Damn, no one man should have all that power.
Has he been in chat today? I didn't see him.
I haven't seen Lampy a little bit.
That's late.
He's not here. He's not here to defend it, so I get what I want.
He's sleeping. Before we continue on to more stuff we've been playing, Thought Takes. I've been a member for 2 months. Thank you so much, Thought Takes. Nick, my wife requests some dog cameos, please and thank you.
Barry's.
Oh no,
Barry's laying right there in his bed. Right there.
No,
it's a real blurry dog.
Second, I also thought it was like cameos, like those videos, like, "Hey, it's me, Jason Priestley. I heard it's your birthday. Happy birthday. I hope you have 90210. Good time."
Barry on focus instead of me.
I don't see it.
Nice. Blue dog.
He blue. He's laying by the light.
Who's the best blue dog?
Speakeasy says I still have to finish the Surge. Casey never finished the Surge.
Bluey might have I never even started the Surge. So
stop playing shitty games. Play fucking Super Mario World. What's wrong with you guys?
Super Mario World is such a good ass video. That's one of my formative video games.
Mm-hmm. They're you know that Atlas Fallen game you played for review? Yeah, they're like, it's getting like a whole rework in, it might have already, no, it comes out like 2 weeks, July 14th.
What are they reworking?
Like his name so I remember it.
There's a what is this? What is this filter on you, Marty? Oh, you're.
It's just a dog. It's my dog filter. It's my dog face. Just tell me about
But yeah,
Atlas
if you go look up the trailer for it, Casey, they're adding new enemies, new moves, like changing like parts of the world. It's like a basically 1.5 rework of it.
Ooh, Shadow of the Atlas Fallen.
Get the fuck out of here. Shadow of the Atlas Fallen. Is that like, who made that game? Deck 5?
Deck 13. Same devs that made the Surge. That's why I brought it up.
Oh, it was the word deck. Oh.
Yeah,
I pulled that out of
Steam Deck.
Steam Dark. And then Bugapog with a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Bugapog. Shout out to Marty in the chat. Thanks. Thanks, Bugapog.
That's nice.
Also, I feel like it's slightly offensive and not very thoughtful of Eric to have me as a dog, which would fucking kill me if I was a dog, Eric. Last time I hung out with a dog, I played with it and then I had an asthma attack and I had to leave.
If you were a dog, maybe you wouldn't be allergic to yourself.
Could you imagine how bad
That's
that would
true.
be, though, if I was allergic to people?
Just
What if
to
I'm
be allergic to
human
yourself.
dander? What if I'm allergic to myself?
I'm allergic.
Humans
to
have
people.
dander?
Yeah, everything has dander. It's just like dead skin.
Are you?
Ew.
You're not like seriously asking that, are you?
What?
I wasn't sure what dander was. I thought it was just like pieces of fur.
This is a safe space to learn, Nick. What are we doing? You know, a bunch of dumb shit. There's a word you keep pronouncing wrong, and I am not.
There are several.
I'm not correcting you because I think we should be allowed to pronounce
on this
things
podcast
wrong.
today.
No, several meetings.
Just in life.
The word. Yeah, you've pronounced the word wrong, and it's fine. But I'm just saying, we don't need to lord what we know and don't know over each other because we're all fucking idiots. No one knows anything here.
I'm still waking up from Vegas. That's fine.
I don't think that can't be.
Now I want to know what word it is. You text it to me on Slack.
No, I'm trying to remember what it was, and I can't. Omar would
you
know.
can't remember.
Omar and I looked at each other and we giggled in a
Oh.
meeting. Omar and I do little giggles. We do little camera giggles.
This is gossip. I don't like this.
It wasn't even gossip. We just did a 2-camera giggle. We didn't talk about it afterwards. That's not gossip. That's just called 2 friends sharing a look. That's what me and Omar did.
It's called chemistry.
It's like a gossip.
It's called chemistry. Other things we've been playing. I've been playing Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, which is the new Switch.
How's that going?
Of Luigi's Mansion: The Dark Moon. I never played the Dark Moon on the 3DS. I didn't play a lot of 3DS games, if I'm being honest.
Oh, right. 2 was a 3DS game.
Yeah, and so I didn't futz a lot with that, but I played the Luigi's Mansion 1 on the GameCube, and then just a year ago, I played the Luigi's Mansion 3 finally on Switch, and it was great. I was like, oh,
yeah,
God,
I played
this is amazing.
some of that myself, the 3. I didn't stick with it, though.
So 2 is it doesn't quite reach the highs of 3, understandably, mostly because 2 is chopped up because of the handheld nature of it. It's chopped up into like specific levels and missions. And there'll be a group of them that's like 6 levels in a row that are all at the same micro mansion. And then you get to the top of it, you fight a boss, and then you go on to the next one. And so like the first one's a traditional mansion, and then the second one is like kind of like a plant-based treehouse. The third one's like an old mine, like a Wild West mine town mansion kind of thing. And so yeah, I said a bunch of words there. That's that thing, an old Wild West mine town mansion.
Yeah, a Wild West mine town mansion. Sure. Of course, got it.
I don't know those. And so that leaves a little to be desired compared to like the hotel of Luigi's Mansion 3 and like every floor having its kind of distinct theme to it. But it's still like one of the most charming games in terms of its visuals, its sound design, its animations. Like it is just every little interaction kind of epitomizes Nintendo's whole ethos of like fun and play forward. Like everything about it just feels so playful. And it's like just the right amount of spooky where it's not actually spooky, but every once in a while you're like, oh, this is kind of spooky. But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun game. Again, in this weird final year of the Switch, again, assuming final year, I guess anything can happen. But the fact that we're not getting a ton of newies yet. I guess the newies are coming near the end of the year with the Brothership and Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. But them rolling older games like this and Thousand Year Door out to new audiences, I think is great. I've been enjoying both of them. Those have been most of the things I've been playing on my free time after work have been those two. So yeah,
like unlike Thousand Year Door, was Luigi's Mansion 2 kind of highly requested? Like were folks like, oh man, I wish this was not stuck on the 3DS?
No, I think Luigi's Mansion 3 sold really well, and I think
so they just wanted another. Okay, that makes sense.
And I'm kind of surprised they didn't port Luigi's Mansion 1 to just have them all there. Like when Pikmin 4 came out, they ported Pikmin 1 and 2 over to Switch just to be like, all right, you can have all of them on here.
Yeah, where is 1? Right, like is that not playable on Switch right now?
Oh, it was GameCube only. There might have been like a Wii, like you know how Wii had some of those games where it's like an old GameCube game with Waggle. But yeah, I think as far as I know, they don't have it on the modern consoles.
All right, they probably have it in the books to wait another couple of years and then release the Luigi's Mansion trilogy.
They did a remake
like
for
7 years.
3DS of the original.
Oh, they had a 3DS remake. That's right, Eric. Yeah, but still, like that's not, I don't know. That's not like modern hardware, I guess. Like 3DS has been kind of left to the wayside, and so yeah, especially if Nintendo is going forward with the Switch kind of in your library being the thing that is going to carry over, then it kind of makes sense for them to bring all, even if they've ported stuff several times, to bring it all over to this so that people can have it here and they can just make more money. And God knows Miyamoto loves making money. Even though his salary came out, it wasn't that high. I mean, it was high. He made like 1.5 million, but
it was high
like
enough.
His salary just says Marty Sleva.
I'm not worried. I don't 1.5 million. You know how much money I make? It's that money minus living expenses goes to them. 1.5 million.
Yeah. Marty's budget is mortgage, utilities, Nintendo, then
Nintendo.
Food.
Yeah.
So you're making the rain. That's what I do. No. Now the newest one is I gotta buy these fuckers for $25 a piece. These Bibles. There's 14 of these fuckers.
Oh God! Just borrow them from Jamate.
Jeez, I feel like it would cost more money to ship them.
It probably would.
It would absolutely cost more money.
It would cost more money. Yeah. Well, have you guys been playing anything else?
Yeah, haven't been. Well, I haven't played something, but I can't talk about it because it's video related. But like, it's a platformer. But I did rewatch Matilda because I got the bug after Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Like Mean Girls kind of disappointed, and I was just reminded of how awesome Matilda was. So I watched it again. My son was with me. I was watching it because I wanted to watch it, but my son just happened to be there. But it's such a good, engrossing movie that he would not shut up the whole time. Like when he's like really excited about like what's happening on screen, like he'll answer back to everything that's happening. Like characters will say stuff, and if they're like a bad character, he'll have like a witty response to retort whatever they're saying. So like he'll just keep like responding to just all the mean people and be like, man, if she said that to me, I'd smack her in the face. And she's like, oh no, you can't do he's just like sassing back the TV the whole time. And I'm like, he's super engaged in this. Like he's like loving every second of it.
Matilda experience.
But I get it because I was completely freaking enthralled and overwhelmed. And like I know I talked about this the first time I watched this movie, but there's a song like midway through the movie, When I Grow Up. And it is like it may have made Matilda the musical my favorite musical, period. Like it may have elevated that production into just my favorite musical I've ever experienced, because that song is so touching. And as soon as it started, I started crying.
Amazing.
As soon as it started, because I knew what was coming. As soon as it started, I was just in tears. It's such a beautiful song. That's such a cool double message because it's sung by the kids from the perspective of the kids, but everything they're saying is a double line that can be intuited differently if you're an adult. And then like the last refrain of the song is sung by an adult to kind of really drive home the fact that like, yeah, the kids look at it this way, but adults look at it this way. And like I had to pause the movie to explain that to my son. Like, son, this song is brilliant. You want to know why? And he was like, I guess you're gonna tell me.
That's what I say. So sure.
So Matilda. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's fantastic.
I wonder if
outside of that,
after every podcast, when we talk about Matilda, Netflix sees like a small spike in people watching it. They're like, oh, weird.
I mean, it deserves it.
It would deserve it on Wednesday nights. It was great. Matilda's wonderful.
It was so good. It's so good. I went back, and this was my son's pick. Like he's been watching the original Mickey Mouse, not the original. I'm sorry, like that newer rebooted Mickey Mouse cartoon. Like it has like the real stark sort of dark line animation style.
Yeah, the one that kind of looked like the game that came out last year, right? That was kind of like
a little, yeah. It looks a little like that game, yes. In fact, no, that game is based on that. Yes, the picture Eric is showing is that style. So like it looks like it's based on the OG style, but it's very modern in its look and its style. It's such a good like little comedy show. Like it doesn't have like a through line or anything. It's very short episodes as well, like 4 to 5 minutes per episode. And like, it's just the main cast, Mickey, Goofy, Donald, Minnie features a lot, Daisy features a lot. And it's them just getting into hijinks. But like it fully embraces all of the conventions of just modern cartoon comedy. Like Mickey's face will distort, like he'll do gross shit. Like the image on the screen is him licking a dwarf, for example.
Explain this. What the hell? I'm putting him. He's got Moog status. What's going on? Oh, this looks like Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, like they take in a lot of that stuff, but on top of like hitting all those marks, like the writing is really good. It also plays around with culture. Like they'll have episodes that are just based in a location. Like there's a France episode where all the characters just speak French because they're like it's set in Paris. And like everything that's happening because of context. Like everything is so emotive. Like the situation is basically telling you like, oh, Minnie's running a restaurant and they're out of croissants. Now Mickey has to deliver croissants, and like it's this weird, wacky adventure to him to get the croissants over to her. But it's all set in Paris, and it's filled with tropes that if you know anything about Paris, you're like, oh, that's a joke at Paris at France's expense. But also, if you know nothing about Paris, it's teaching you those tropes. Like it's telling you like, hey, these are like kind of known things about that culture. Like here are landmarks from that culture, whatever. Here are words, and they keep saying croissant, and they're showing you this thing. Like this is a French thing. Like I really like that is sort of like seeding like just wider cultural information within each cartoon episode. And like there's a lot of those. Like there was a really fun one that happened to be set in Monaco, and I only knew that because it was based around a Formula One race that was happening at the same time. And I watched Race to Survive and realized how big Formula One is in Monaco. Like there's a really big race there every season in Monaco. And like Mickey and Minnie were trying to have a watch party for Formula One. And that was the basis of the episode. So like, I'm really enjoying it. Like there's a ton of episodes, but it's a series that's like been over for a while now. Like it launched in 2013. I think it ended like maybe 2015, 2016, something like that. But it's a really, really good show. If you have any affinity for like just a good ass, no frills cartoon, like this is quality.
I learned about that race in Monaco from Iron Man 2 when Mickey Rourke's Ivan Monaco committed a terrorist attack at the race.
Yeah, that Monaco race is a big deal.
That race is in it's in Hitman 2, I think, as well.
There you go.
Oh, is that I know the one you're talking about? Is that Monaco? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
You know what's great? Hitman. Like that World of Assassination trilogy. Whoa, what games?
Shoot,
they're doing James Bond.
We might need to
now?
add that to the list of games series we go through.
Yeah, I need to. That's one that I keep downloading. I keep playing like the first mission or two, and then I'm like, and then I think about it again. And I want to come back. No, Hitman 2 was in Florida. That's where that race was. But I think they have
Monaco
a map in Monaco.
The US. Monaco of the US. As they call it. Every Christmas they roll out, they take one of the levels, they Christmasify it in an update, and one of the targets, or I guess two of the targets, are the wet bandits from Home Alone.
Is that real?
I streamed it for Christmas. Yeah.
Oh shit, that's kind of cool.
I killed Joe Pesci, and I killed Joe Pesci's friend. I don't know his.
I forget that man. I forget that man's name too.
Yeah. Nick, you been playing, watching anything? Nick, you see those Gladiator 2 pictures? You excited for Gladiator 2?
That's a movie I'm like, I don't know why this exists. I want to watch it, but I still don't know why it exists. Like, I didn't, like, this Gladiator franchise? Like,
they want it to be.
I don't know.
It's about to be.
If it's good, it's good. Like, I just don't. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I think it's just another movie about gladiators. I don't think.
That's fine.
Too, but I don't think no one's returning.
It's not Russell Crowe's son's. Russell Crowe's character's son.
I think it's just more gladiators. Also, Eric, there's no trailer, so that's a fake ass image.
Yeah, like Denzel Washington is definitely not in that movie.
No, he is. Denzel Washington plays the Emperor in the movie.
He is?
Yeah, he's got a cool earring.
Okay.
There's no trailer for it, so that thumbnail. We gotta, what we as a society need to do? Anyone who uploads a fake trailer that looks kind of real, you know what they need? They need to be killed. There is no punishment too severe for the people who upload fake trailers. Because then I got to explain to all my normie friends that there's not a Black Popeye movie starring Will Smith, and I'm the one who sounds like the asshole. And they're like, "Oh, what? Popeye can't be black?" I'm like, "He can. It's just not a movie. It's not real."
Man, yeah, there's so many like fake Star Wars trailers and all that.
It's crazy.
Also, if we had a Black Popeye, it should
there
be
he
John
is.
Boyega.
There he is. That sends out. Look how
Oh
good
shit!
He
doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't even look like himself. Wow.
He looks great. Yeah, he's got an earring. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah,
he looks like Morgan Freeman in this picture.
He's getting old. Getting old.
Damn.
Yeah, I haven't been playing anything because I was gone pretty much Thursday till the end of last weekend, so didn't really get around to playing anything. But I did get caught up on The Boys, The Acolyte, and Game of Thrones last night. So
let's hear it.
Don't want to. Yeah, don't want to spoil the Boys episode, but I really liked it. It was kind of tough to watch. It was really sad. But I enjoyed it. I'm not sure. Have you been watching the season, Marty?
No, I haven't watched the season at all. I think I'm just gonna wait for it to be done. Watch it all.
Okay. Yeah, I like it, and like I don't want to fall into that trap of like it's definitely making fun of like the people that it's making fun of for sure. But like I don't know, like I felt like it was like not super on the nose about it in the first 3 seasons, and season 4 is kind of like hitting like all of America's current hot topics in each episode, and I'm like, all right. like
they're getting tired of the subtext because people still aren't like picking up what they're dropping, something like that.
Maybe a little bit.
Homelander woke.
they didn't make Homelander woke. But like I don't know, it's just some of it just doesn't feel like as smoothly paced as older seasons. I guess I would say about it. I still really like it, but yeah. Jason Tudor says in the chat they had to make the message stronger because certain people were still in denial. I mean, it's almost a parody of our current culture, and I'm fine with that. I think
every season of the show just feels exactly the same to me. Every season of the show is Carl Urban being like, "Oi, butcher, you stole my son," and then Jack Quaid's like, "Man, and then Homelander's like, "I'm racist, but they love me." Like, that description is every season of the show.
You're
like
kind of right.
Dick, or like someone like farts out an asshole or something, and there's one gross thing that social media puts out.
Yeah, this season's gross thing definitely just happened in the last episode. But yeah, I don't know. I just haven't been as hot on this season as I haven't. Like, I really like season 1 through 3. The season hasn't really like not a lot's really happened yet. But anyway, House of the Dragon, good as ever, and then The Acolyte I think is the interesting one to talk about, where it's another week where like not a lot happens in the show.
I didn't watch last night's.
You didn't watch last night's? Okay, so I won't spoil anything then, but essentially, it's another like holdover episode, I guess, into the next one where they're like, "Here's this big twist," and it's like, "This isn't a twist." It's been pretty obvious the entire time if you've been watching the show.
I'm just glad we get a lot of Jason Mendoza from The Good Place. Let me tell you, he's one of the most handsome human beings that's ever existed, and the fact that we see him and he's got big muscles, I can't talk about who he is, but he's got big muscles. He looks great.
Yeah, it's I don't know, that the show is just so different in tone than other Star Wars stuff, and the dialogue is so different. It's just I'm not sure how to feel about it. Like I find it really interesting. I don't know if I really like it or if I'm okay with it, or I'm kind of like in that middle ground of like this is fine. Pretty much what Darren said, and a bunch of people got mad at Darren for saying it's just fine.
Yeah,
but that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's fine.
It's one of those shows I'm watching week to week. I enjoy it while I'm watching it, and I just don't think about it outside of that. Whereas like House of the Dragon, I think about after the episodes. Presumably Innocence with Jake Gyllenhaal, I'm thinking about after the episodes. The Bear, even though I'm a little rocky on this season, I'm still thinking about it. So I'm still watching it week to week. There's only a few episodes left.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I've been doing.
Nice. I've been the last thing I've been, aside from like a bunch of summer games done quick stuff, I started rewatching as my like late night comfort food show is I started rewatching Parks and Rec. That show is, especially once you get into the 3rd season, that show is like phenomenal. Like I think I think there's a stretch where it's just the best sitcom ever.
Yeah, it 100% picks up where The Office left off. Like it carries all of that same energy and style and humor and like joy that show left on the table, like post not
like once Jim and Pam kind of got together, and once what's his name left, Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, yeah. When Steve Carell like left, I mean, the show wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't as good. Like Parks and Rec stayed at as good as The Office at its height the whole time.
Yeah. George Lucas says, I've only seen the first 2 seasons. Literally, you stopped when it like starts. When they bring on Rob Lowe and Adam Scott, to me, is like when the show becomes kind of great. Like that is, it was so weird doing the rewatch because there's that other dude, Mark Brandanowitz. I'm like, I forgot you're on the show. You're just like a dude who's here. And I'm like, you're not important. You're gonna leave soon. And then it just keeps getting better. A lot of Biden talk too. A lot of weird Biden talk. She absolutely.
She got like a weird crush on him or something, right?
Oh, Leslie, only you can see what's going on.
What's the new one they're doing? They're not rebooting The Office. They're doing The Paper now, and it's about a newspaper.
It's like it's gonna be like a show that takes. It's like an independent, like a small town newspaper that needs like volunteers to write at it in the Midwest, but it like exists in the same world as The Office. So like I'm assuming they'll be like
tons of cameos.
Thunder Mifflin, yeah,
right.
I don't know why. I don't know why they need to do that. Like they've made a bunch of new shows and they were all good. Like just
franchising.
I mean, originally Parks and Rec was going to be like a canonical spin-off to The Office, and that changed. And so I mean,
was it because of Rashida Jones?
Yeah, I think maybe they were going to be.
Right.
Yeah, I think they realized like Karen on The Office didn't really have that much to her.
Yeah.
Whereas like her Parks and Rec characters, I mean, I guess she's a nurse.
I'm still sad every day that Brooklyn Nine-Nine didn't go on longer.
Yeah, but it never it got to go out like
it got to go out on a good note.
Yeah. So that's what like I'm happy where Brooklyn Nine-Nine left off. I'm happy where The Good Place left off. I'm happy where Parks and Rec left off.
30 Rock had a great ending too.
30 Rock had an amazing ending.
I watched The Good Life not too long ago. I thought the last season was pretty weak, but
for The Good Place?
Yeah. The Good Place? Oh man, I disagree. I was like,
I'm sorry, they
devastated by the end of it.
They knocked that out of the park. In my opinion.
It was really good story stuff. It just wasn't as funny.
No.
Well, at some point that show stops being about funny. It starts getting like, hey, this was a philosophy show the whole time. We're about to philosophize your ass.
Yeah.
It was very like it had a very comedy centric tone in the first couple seasons, but then those last few were like, man, this is kind of like this hitting me in the feels.
It was it was super deep. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right. Did we do it?
I think we did. No, you still had to go at 7:30.
We did do I have a heart out. This one's like a real heart out. Sometimes I do like fake heart outs just because I want to leave early, but this one's a real one. Evil Apple Juice with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. Evil Apple Juice with a $2 dono says thanks. I literally didn't know that was going to be your message, but I worded it slightly differently. So look at that. Doesn't seem like quite an idiot right now, am I? We did great. What are we doing? What do we got going on? Let me let you guys know what we got coming up tomorrow. There's gonna be no Devil May Cry for the 4th of July holiday because we're gonna get some explosives and try to blow them up without blowing up our hands.
We're gonna blow up the devils.
There will be a new episode of Semi Ramblomatic tomorrow, and then Friday there's gonna be Devheads at the normal time, and they're gonna have one of the creative leads of Amnesia: The Bunker on. So tune in for that at noon Central. And then Jack and I are going to be doing more Elden Ring Friday, probably after that. We haven't really locked down a time, but I think after that. And then the other big thing is, there should be a bite size coming out soon from Javed, his first bite size on Riven. He really liked it. So if anyone's still mad at Yahtzee, don't worry. Someone who liked it's coming. Also, doesn't matter if you didn't like Riven. It doesn't matter. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Tuesday at noon Central will be our premiere of The Rewind, our new entertainment series. And the first episode will be myself, Jack, and Darren just gabbing about all the movies and TV we've been watching and enjoying lately. Nice. I'm excited to talk about the X-Files more. I didn't have Darren on weekly podcasts when I finished the X-Files, so I was like, who do I talk to about this?
Yeah, that was a mistake. You fucked up there.
I fucked up big. Boy, I didn't realize the whole company was going to shatter. What else we got going on? Casey, what do you got going
on? The huge, but not actually because we're not doing DMC tomorrow. But this Saturday should be another remastered Adventures Nigh episode, so catch up on that. I'm not actually sure this Friday if we'll be home to do a wedding stream with me, the future wife, and the boy. But if so, I'll let you know. So follow the Twitter at SigmaGears9. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, like not a ton going on. Like it's a bit of a dry season, both in terms of the games industry and just the country. Like we're heading into a holiday weekend, so folks have checked out. Like I had nothing to do at my day job today. But that'll probably change coming.
I saw the Watch Dogs movies being filmed.
You saw that? I didn't see that.
Oh
Nice.
yeah, like official. They tweeted out. They were like .exe/movie Watch Dogs film.
Great job.
Ooh.
Super.
Great job, everyone. Real proud of you.
That might be good. I'll keep an eye on that.
Good. Hope it's good.
Like Ubisoft productions have not been terrible. Like I'm still a big champion of the Blood Dragon anime series. If you haven't watched that, watch it. It's really freaking good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
also,
it for me.
Everybody Loves Rayman. That was like a huge sitcom for a long time.
Yeah. I can't argue with that.
Everybody Loves Rayman. Get it? Do you get it, Nick? There was a show called Everybody Loves Raymond, but I replaced his name with Rayman, who's one of the pillar IP of Ubisoft. What do you got going on, Nick?
We should have left you behind in the chain game.
The chain game? No!
I'm working on my next Unpack script. That'll be out next Thursday, talking about the fear of missing out in video games. I tweeted about that, and a bunch of people had interesting things to say, so gonna have to do that. Next, we won't be starting Call of Duty 2 this Friday because the holidays and Frost is on vacation because he's smart. So we'll be starting Call of Duty 2 next Friday, and then I forgot this week was July 4th too, so we may be doing a game night soon. Again on Saturdays. We got a bunch of games to check out. So.
My word.
And then, of course, make sure to go check out Patreon and all that kind of stuff. We'll be starting to run ads for that this month. New merch incoming. We've got the plushies incoming finally. Got the mocks. They all look really good. We're just waiting for the product pages, and then we'll get an ad out, and you'll have new Adventures Night plushies, new t-shirts, the new color variants that I promised, all that kind of stuff. So lots of cool stuff coming up.
And Sean Harriman says Dokapon when. We are going to figure it out. Jesse and Frost are currently on vacation. Next week, we will figure out when.
Yeah.
Or your money back. I don't know what money that is, but I'll give it back to you, Sean. Excellent. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone in YouTube, everyone watching Avad, and anyone listening to this on their podcast service of choice. We really appreciate it. So for Nick and Casey and Eric, this was Marty. This was Firelink episode number 27. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the night. And if you celebrate the holiday tomorrow, have a great 4th of July. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, have fun.
Bye.